Blogging every single day was super tough. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Matt Report. As always, I am your host Matt, and today is another private video, sort of just talking about where we're going to go with direction of this newsletter. I think this newsletter is going to be a lot more about creating these private videos instead of sort of creating rich new content every single time in the email. Model of this content is to really share content that is away from the WordPress space, but more specifically about the lessons that I'm learning as an agency owner, freelance consultant, podcast host, YouTuber, content marketer, like all of these lessons, product creator, and distill them down into these little micro bites of lessons that I can share with you. If you're not into that kind of content, then it's probably best that you unsubscribe now. I launched plugintut.com, which is a WordPress tutorial blog, back in May of last year, and I was focusing a lot on doing content both on the blog and on the YouTube channel in order to grow a new audience there, which is primarily just WordPress tutorials. Come the new year, I wasn't happy with the traffic coming to the website. Now I'm going to try to link up the graphic here, but I made it sort of a pact to say, well, I'm going to blog every single day on PluginTut alongside of creating videos on the YouTube channel, and trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of January was sort of the goal. Blogging every single day was super tough alongside of everything else that I'm doing now. There are plenty of sort of content marketing gold rush stories of people saying like, here's how you attract customers. You blog every day, you podcast every day, you create videos, screencasts, Facebook ads, email newsletters, videos. There's just a massive amount of content that you can create, but it is a lot of work. It's a lot of work for me. I'm going to blog every single day. Let's see if I can do that to see if it raises my traffic to my site. And I grew the traffic 150% by blogging almost every day. I don't have the exact numbers off the top of my head because I do a lot of this stuff sort of off the cuff, but it was roughly between 140 to 150% increase in traffic. So we went from roughly, almost 2,000 visits per month to now 5,000 visits per month, roughly. And I did 25 blog posts. So I missed 6 days, and I could actually get another one out today because the day is still young. But 25 or 26 published posts on plugintut.com, again, along with the YouTube videos that I've done now, over 100 videos on YouTube. The point is, it was very tough to keep up with the demand of writing every single day, and the blog posts range from 500 words to 2,000 words. Takeaways that I have from all of this is have the goal. My goal was post every single day and grow 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Those were the two content goals that I had for PluginTut if you're trying to grow an audience. I cleared the 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. That was fairly easy, I think. I mean, I was just showing up and creating content every single day on YouTube. The blog posts were a lot harder, and that was much more of a struggle. And the best things that I could say is I would try to do this monthly now. So now moving forward, I think what I'm really going to stick to is monthly themes, right? 1 or 2, maybe 3 themes that I sort of predict that I want to get into. Maybe even 1 theme for the month, just so you know what sort of storyline you should be on, right? So I really found myself jumping sort of all over the place, but a lot of it had to do with I did a lot of membership and ebook stuff because that's what I was doing when I was creating the podcastbook.com. I was in the trenches building an ebook site, selling an ebook. So I was taking all of those lessons and sort of bringing them over to the tutorials that I was doing on PluginTut. But I would have some kind of storyline because, man, when you sit down to actually write content, it's difficult when, life is super busy and hectic. And then you're like, oh God, I got to sit down and write something today. The days when things weren't so busy and all the tasks got done and you could sit down and you had these great ideas, that's fine. It's the days that you sit down and you're like, oh God, I have to write another blog post. Where do I begin?
Stop whining.
If you have that North Star of a theme or again, to use the repetitive word goal, you can always look to that and say, well, I don't need to have writer's block because I know I have to write content about this. I haven't perfected it yet, and I will certainly talk about it once I do, but having some kind of structure for every blog post that you write, like an introduction, a reason, a case study, a story, and then the actual tutorial, and then a conclusion. Right now, it's sort of something like that. It's very loose. I'm sure I could Google and research how people structure stories and blog posts. I'm sure there's a billion types of pieces of advice out there for this kind of thing. I just didn't want to dive into that yet. One, I didn't want to get lost in it. Number two, I didn't have time. And number three, I didn't want to be convinced yet on a particular way of doing things. I wanted to work through it myself and then find the pain points and adjust accordingly to the way that I sort of write and publish. I look to that framework to really help me push through a piece of content. And a lot of this writing, I really felt like sometimes I'm just pushing it out. And some of the stuff was unsatisfactory to me, which, if, again, brings up another point. Like a lot of people say, push content. The numbers are staring me right in the face. Traffic is up 150%. Organic traffic is up 60 to 70% on Google search. And this is just within the month. I'm sure as that content begins to get more shared and indexed longer and more long tail, I'll see those numbers increase over time. This is just the early stage of the numbers going up. So that's all awesome and great, but I'm just curious of what the long-term effect is on the actual content and the actual readership and people being engaged with the rest of the content. That is something that is still to be determined, which brings up the whole thing of creating awesome content is difficult. It's difficult to show up every single day to create awesome content.
So we as marketers, as business people, as who we are in the world, we need to figure out when we're doing executions, are we actually respecting the person on the other side's time? Are we actually caring about that at all? Because every second that goes by, that is becoming a bigger and bigger importance and value prop to the end consumer. And so many of our tactics completely disrespect that.
So I wonder what happens if you showed up once a week and created amazing content that was shared continuously. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. Again, the Matt Report newsletter really going to shift to more video like this, much more sort of wins and losses, and sort of uncovering the day-to-day with the stuff that I'm doing, and hopefully it's stuff that you're doing too. Talking to clients, selling projects, consulting on projects, doing content, getting a product out there. A lot of us are doing all of this. This is like the new age digital business owner. And that's really what I want to uncover. Does that make sense? Let me know in the comments below. Go ahead and thumbs up the video if you like it. That's going to be the metric I'm going to use to make sure that people actually like me doing videos like this. We'll talk to you in the next video.